All right, folks, check those calendars. You may not believe it. You can start counting down the days, and once the clock strikes midnight, we'll be at 10. So then it goes to single digits. It's getting that close, Nebraska fans. Illinois, front and center. The Huskers getting ready for another season of Big Ten play under Scott Frost, and we're getting ready and hope you are for another hour of Nebraska football talk with, of course, Greg Peterson from Husker Online, and he brought somebody with him. This is Abby Barmore from Husker Online as well. Abby, how you doing tonight? It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm doing great. Excited for some good questions.
Awesome. It is great to have you. Abby's covering, football and volleyball, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Greg, how you doing this week?
Hey, you know me. Getting ready for the grind, baby. Want to go hit somebody else in a different uniform, a different colored uniform. Like usual at this time of year.
Is that what happens on the sidelines? You start hitting guys with other, jackets on? Is that other gear on?
We could go that route, I guess. yeah. We'll see. But I'm always reliving my glory days at this time of year anyway. When you get to the dog days of camp days and you're getting sick of hitting your fellow teammates, that it's time to go after somebody else. And I think that's where Nebraska's at right now.
All right, folks, you know the drill. Leave your comments, your questions, your debate topics in the live chat, and Greg and Abby, myself, will address those one by one. But we will start with kind of the general theme here. It's fall camp. It's kind of the dog days of fall camp. I'm sure exactly what you said just a few minutes ago in regards to not quite game week, still getting ready, still fine-tuning, but at the same time, the guys are probably getting a little anxious to get out there and hit somebody different. But what are your impressions of fall camp at this point?
Well, actually, one thing that's a little bit different right now is that, right now, you're day 16 of fall camp, and they are going good on good right now. Both top units are going at it, and that's because it is, game week is coming up. Monday we start. Monday is we're regular season mode here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and so they're already working on Illinois. Things are going in. There's film being watched, and game plans are already being made up and stuff. And it's full systems go around here right now.
All right, appreciate everybody being here. We will certainly take your comments and questions. See a number of people in here for a first time, and I hope everyone's taken our homework assignment, brought some new folks in here for Nebraska football talk. Derek is asking, with Northwestern running back Cam Porter out for the season. I didn't know that. I didn't see that. He is a good one. Who should we watch out for when Northwestern plays Nebraska? Whoa, Derek, let's get to Illinois. Northwestern's on down the line. We'll get to that at some point. We'll talk some Northwestern football, rest assured, and probably take more of a deep dive on Illinois next week, as we've got one more show to get in before the big game against Illinois.
I'd say, Derek, watch out for JoJo Doman. How about that?
Okay. Alan's here, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Always encouraging everyone to like the video and, of course, spread the word. Alan, boy, I don't know what the fascination is, Greg, with Northwestern tonight, but Alan wants predictions for Northwestern. No, that's Nebraska. Okay, I thought we had more Northwestern talk there. Okay, predictions for Nebraska. I am not obligated to my predictions. They have yet to be released, so that the video is going to be released at some point. Greg, are you a big prediction guy?
I never have been, but I'll go out on a limb there and say that Nebraska's going to win 8 games. How about
that? Okay.
Which games do you think they're winning?
Do you make predictions, Abby?
I said 6 earlier, but I've upped it a little bit.
Yes, so. You have.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant.
I think that they could handle maybe 7 or 8. It's hard to tell, based on the team, what we've seen this year, the talent that they have now. It's feel like they could win 8 games. But in these last few years, it's felt like, they could win more games than they actually do. So it'll just depend on those things like the turnover margin, if they can keep their running backs healthy, how well Adrian's playing, and that'll definitely develop as the season goes on.
Absolutely. Got Barry B in the live chat. He's asking about he's going to be at the game. That's very cool. As most folks around Big Ten country get to watch football in person for the first time in 2 years. Barry's wondering about a ratio. So I would think in terms of the crowd, this would be a better question for when Nebraska's on the road at Illinois.
Which is what it is.
Well,
yeah.
Is the game on the road? I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's in Champaign.
I thought it was a home game. Okay. That question makes total sense to me now. I was thinking it's going to be like 95-5. What do you think there, Greg? Let me take the stab before we let the experts go at it. I'm going to say at Illinois, it's been a pretty lackluster fan reaction to Illinois football for quite some time, but they're going to be a bit revved up. Of course, it's the opener. It is a Big Ten game, and it's Brett Bielema coming back with a little resurgence here, possibly, and some interest in Illinois football. But man, they have probably been the low rung of attendance in Big Ten football in recent years. I'm going to say it should be 65-35 Illinois.
That, like in a normal year, that's Nebraska at Champaign. That fan ratio. It's a pretty easy road trip for Nebraska fans, and usually they fill that stadium up pretty good. And I wouldn't doubt that it might be 70-30 Nebraska fans again. The only thing that I give Illinois fans might turn out a little bit more. There might be a little bit more enthusiasm just to see new coaching staff and the fact that they hadn't been able to go to a game in a while there. But that's always a big time road trip for Nebraska fans, and that's a sea of red in that stadium, not a sea of orange.
70-30 in Champaign. Wow. What is that? Maybe
look at
hours?
Yeah. 7 hours. Yeah. I mean, look at years past. Look at the crowd at that game, year in and year out. Yeah. Illinois fans don't go that. Illinois fans don't care about football.
Well, they have little to cheer for. They went to a Rose Bowl like 14 years ago. 2007. Yep. They went to a bowl game a couple of years ago, but it's been a bit rough there at Illinois.
You got to Nebraska fans travel. If there's anything in driving distance, Nebraska fans are going to show up there in the hordes. So
Abby, are you a longtime Nebraska football fan, or where do you stand on that?
Long time, as in since I've been like 12, which is like 10 years.
Well, long time for you. Yes. A long time for you. Like yes, a minute for Greg and I, like 10 minutes for us. Yes.
Yeah. I've been following Husker football for a long time. I mean, I was born and raised in Lincoln, so it's definitely something that my family does and that our friends do. So yeah, I've been pretty involved these last few years, especially since I got to college and I, get older, understand more about the game, or, able to research more about college football and the Huskers more. So that's how I've really kind of gotten into where I'm at now.
Very cool.
Let me say this too, that Abby and I are both proud graduates of Lincoln East High School here, albeit, 30 some odd years apart. But, so we're both cut from the same cloth here at Husker Online.
That's what I told
Go Spartans.
Go Spartans.
Go
All
Spartans.
Right. That's what I told Abby when she said she was graduating this December. I said, I graduated in December too. I said, a few years ago, just a few years ago. Moonbots back on the Yantee train, all geared up. Now the T-shirts have been delayed to September sometime.
You know what? Early September is not very far away, so can't wait to see them. I'm waiting for those there, Moonbot. Can't wait to see them.
Greg, this question was asked, I believe, last week, and this reminds me of it. Vince is touting Gabe for running back captain. Have they named the captains yet?
Haven't heard anything about captains being named yet. Like we kind of talked about last week, that doesn't mean to say that those guys aren't really already identified with the rest of the team. But they haven't let us know anything about it yet. But as far as leaders in the running back room, we kind of learned that that's like a 4-horse race right now. I give the edge to Gabe Irvin right now as that starter, but then Marquis Stepp is right there behind him, and Savion Morrison is right there too. So those are your top 3 guys, and then I'd have to imagine Marvin Scott, the third, is going to be that number 4 guy right now as far as the pecking order goes in that running back room. But we don't know yet.
And you guys were able to get out to another Wednesday practice, right?
Yeah, we were there last Wednesday. Yeah, we got to see the first part of practice.
All right, Samuel Boot is getting into something right here. You're going to have to take this one away, Greg. Do you know what he's talking about? Austin Allen pulled from a practice scrimmage for count management rest. Press swallows this. Why not at least have him lead his team from the sidelines? Fishy at best.
Coach Frost addressed the tight end situation, and he said that they were resting Austin Allen, and I'm not going to doubt what Coach Frost tells us in the media. Travis Volkulik was a little bit banged up, so that's why he wasn't at practice. But I know this was a question that we got last Tuesday, and obviously the 2 of them weren't out there last Wednesday at practice, and I don't know. If they're just resting the guy, usually they're going to be out there, and Austin Allen wasn't out there. So that's about all I can really say without, knowing exactly what's going on.
Always great to see people in here for the first time that have been watching from week to week, but always have to catch it on the taped version after it posts. They can get in here live. So Thuray, thank you so much for being here live. Alan, thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. Alan, we always appreciate you being here, encouraging others to bring folks in and to like the content. Moonbot's back at it. Greg says that Cam Taylor-Britt is pushing Omar Manning hard.
Hey, that's, like I just mentioned, they're going good on good right now. And I spent a lot of time on the sideline last Wednesday when we were there, and Cam Taylor-Britt and Omar Manning looked pretty chummy there on the sidelines with each other. So I think that there is a pretty good, a friendly competition going on there between those 2 guys, because I think that they recognize each other's talents, and I would agree with that 100%. That there is, he is definitely pushing them.
I also think that I like to see, Cam Taylor-Britt. He's clearly one of the best cornerbacks at Nebraska, but also in the Big Ten, pushing for the country. And it's good to see that Omar Manning is competing with him. Like, that shows the level that Manning is at this year. And I hope that we get to see that translate onto the field, because there's been quite the hype train around him. So it'll be nice to have it on the field, see how it's happening. And I'm sure that's developing them both a lot to work, one-on-one with each other every day and push each other harder.
Oh, here come the betting advice questions. These are just starting now. Okay, so I want to let people know out there that we got a little service there at Patreon. So in the past, you go to Patreon, you sign up at the Mark Rogers TV, Voice of College Football. For $5 per month, you get my predictions, among a lot of other things. But this year, and I forgot to ask Greg about this, maybe he's going to be able to chime in, or maybe I did ask you, but because I've talked to like 52 people a day about your predictions. If you are wide open to and welcome and invited, Greg, to send us your predictions every week to post on Patreon, but that is up to you. So, sure. But we'll have about 15 to 20 media people there on Patreon every week with their predictions, James. But let's see. James wants some help on Illinois, Nebraska. Huskers a 7-point favorite. Please help out. Well, you don't know that we're helping you, James. We could be sending you down the wrong path there. I don't know.
And also, I'm more than happy to do that on Patreon with you, but I just want to warn everybody right now, you might not want to follow my advice on there on my predictions. Take those at your own risk.
I say the same thing. I throw my record out there. My videos have been time stamped for years and even before that. So I don't lie about my record. It can be all verified. So some years are better than others. I'm not telling you I'm some kind of odds maker or handicapper. I just do it for fun. I'm decent at it. It's there for what it is. Entertainment purposes only, as they say.
Absolutely. At least I'm starting out with a 500 record, right?
500? Well, yeah. You're starting out with a 500 record. I guess you can look at it that way, sure. But the Huskers are a solid 7-point favorite on the road. I know where I'm leaning right this second. So you'll get the straight up picks. So, for example, for those that don't necessarily follow this stuff all the time, we'll have everybody pick the game straight up to say who's going to win the game, and then also against the spread. So right now, my lean, don't take this to the bank, would be take Nebraska to win the game, and I'll take that touchdown out of Illinois. That'd be my lean right now.
Sounds like solid to me. I agree 100%. Wish I had more to add to that, but I don't.
Well, Thuray asking about the turnover battle, and if Nebraska wins the turnover battle, will they win most games? Well, the percentages say every team will win most of its games if you win the turnover battle. It's like an 80-some% statistic. If you win the turnover battle, you win the game.
Yeah, that's what they've been dealing with for several years now, is those self-inflicted wounds that they just can't get over. Those turnovers just kill you and take you out of games when a lot of times they've been in a lot of these games that they end up losing because of a turnover here or there. And, it's been a big emphasis, during the spring and during fall camp. And, hopefully that they have a handle on it, but you just never know. It's a strange game and you can prepare all you want. But when it comes to Saturdays out there on the field, anything can happen.
It'll be interesting to see, too, with all those running backs. They're young. They don't have as much game experience, especially if Gabe Urban gets the starting role. So as we see with younger players, they are more typically to turn over balls, not have good ball security. So kind of depending on that running back rotation, there could be 3 or 4 guys in there. Maybe they have a couple of guys that play all the time, or they have some they kind of sprinkle in on specific packages. But like I said, with the turnover margin, who knows how that'll work out with their age.
We know you can only practice on it. You can only practice it so much, and nothing ever replaces game speed and game intensity.
There it is, Greg.
Maybe
Thomas just doesn't want Nebraska not playing the 4-3 defense. So, Abby, this is kind of an inside joke, but I would call it that. But basically, everyone sees it every week. So, Navy Thomas, huge Huskers fan, hates the 3-4 defense.
Always has.
He's always touting the 4-3 defense. He now doesn't even just want Nebraska and care that Nebraska is playing the 4-3 defense. Doesn't want anybody playing the 3-4 defense. So he's on Illinois now, switching to a 3-4 defense that they will flop.
That's a very intense hill to die on. What a great one to pick.
Yeah. Navy is the guy that will die in the hill of the defensive alignment.
When are we going to start hearing the Britt Bielema's on the hot seat questions then?
Well, I guess they'll start week 1 if they lose the first one.
Oh, boy.
Hey is here with a little non-football question, a little food question. What do you guys like to eat? Favorite food on the road, at home, games, or at your house? Tell me your favorite place each place.
Well,
maybe a little punctuation would be good there.
Yeah, no,
anyway.
we're hitting a lot of different, places to eat food at. All right, road games. if you're talking game day at a road game, you're at the mercy of whatever they're feeding you in the press box. But for myself, I'm probably out on the road recruiting on most of those Husker road games. So I'm usually hitting like a In-N-Out burger or a Steak and Shake or something like that after the Friday night football game that I've covered in whatever state I'm in. So I can grab something fast and get back to the hotel room and upload some video of whatever Husker prospect I just got done shooting. Now, game day in Lincoln, they're going to force feed you Valentino's pizza, which is a staple around here. But when you're a member of the media and you get fed that every Saturday and every Monday all football season long, you start to get sick of it. Now, if you're a fan in the stadium, in the stands, you're probably going to get a Runza. Fairbury hot dog to me is the ultimate hot dog of any game day atmosphere. I don't care where you're at. I've had hot dogs in many Major League Baseball stadiums, NFL stadiums, basketball arenas, and nothing beats a Fairbury hot dog on game day. So there you go. That's my thought on that. I do like food.
What you say, Abby?
Well, I have not yet been able to travel much to games or anything, so I don't know about the road games or things like that. But yeah, in the press box, my first season was last season in the press box. So there was, limited food, limited people, limited fun, really.
That was all. Yeah, they only gave us boxed lunches last year for, so COVID destroyed any of that. So Abby hasn't been through a day yet when it's like regular, when everybody's allowed in the press box and it's an open cafeteria with the pregame meal, which usually, and I joke about the Valentino's pizza because they serve that to us after the game every Saturday, but they usually do have a pretty good spread for the media for your pregame meal. And, Nebraskans are proud about some of the products that come from here. So you're going to have a lot of the same things. They always have a pork dish that they're really proud of one week, but it's always something different every week. And it's always pretty good.
It's been 20 years since I was covering college football on site in the stadium in the press box. But I always liked the run of pizza. Yeah, it was typically the post game, but they would come with a pretty good spread pregame around the SEC stadiums. I was never complaining about the pregame meals there, and the news conference meals. It's the same thing during the season for the news conferences.
It's different everywhere, though. I mean, I've heard horror stories about some stadiums about what they feed the press, and it's just a joke. And then some of it's like a gourmet meal. So yeah, it just varies from school to school.
So, folks, check out what we've got available there at Voice of College Football. Go to Voice of College Football. Of course, I assume most of you are Nebraska fans, but not all of you. So pick out your team. Go to the top of the screen. Grab store, you go, and you can either go by apparel selection or go by team, and you just check everything out right there.
Oh.
And I want to let everyone know that we will have Nebraska postgame here with Zach Reeder from Fifth Quarter College Football and also Chris Wall from Husker Hype every Nebraska game. So right after the ball game, you can check us out right here for postgame. All right. Had a question concerning the sellout streak that I will get to here in just a second. Basically, okay, Brandon is telling us, good question. Well, Brandon, you don't need to tell us that it's a good question. No, we'll be the judge of that. If the Huskers don't reach their goal of a winning season, could this be the season the home sellout streak ends?
Hey, you know what? I've been wondering when that thing is going to end, because we've been dilly-dallying with that for the last few years here. But Husker fans still don't disappoint, and they've hung in there with a subpar product for quite a while. Now I know the athletic director, Trev Alberts, talked today in front of the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, and that was one of the questions that he fielded. And in his opinion, he was feeling pretty good about keeping that sellout streak going. But there were a couple of games there that he was a little bit worried about. And I think if you just look at the schedule on there, you can probably guess which games that he's talking about. But I don't know. With what we just saw here last Saturday with Garth Brooks filling up the stadium and kind of electrifying the city, it was like an extra football Saturday game day atmosphere here last Saturday. And I don't see any stop in Husker fans unless, there's some kind of a mask mandate that comes back out and kind of limits people's, joy of going out in public right now. But keep your fingers crossed. I don't think I see it ending this year, not in my opinion. And if they put a good product on the field, then I think it remains strong.
Moonbot joined us on Patreon this morning. Thank you for that, Moonbot. That's good to know. And now that we've announced that Greg's going to have his predictions there, I'm expecting just like the internet to get broken tonight after the show, people signing up on Patreon. I think Patreon's going to have to like close down its servers. So that's what I'm expecting now that we know that Greg's going to have his picks. We got Steve Dace with Michigan Podcast. We got Kevin Noon on there, Greg. He's going to be bringing his predictions there from Buckeye Grove, and we got all sorts of media people, and of course my picks as well.
Yeah, Kevin and I go way back, and I always love to match wits with the old Nooner.
And for anybody who's joined us a little bit late and is wondering, hey, you guys have classed up the show here. What's going on here? That's Abby Barmore. She's covering some football and volleyball there at Husker Online and helping us out on a Nebraska live show here tonight. So it's great to have Abby along.
Thank you for having me, guys. I've been having some fun, I guess, so far.
Just some fun.
Well, she's also helps out with recruiting too. So she's really dialed in the whole football recruiting world as well. And I'll tell you something about Abby is that she could be out at Nebraska practice for 30 minutes, and I bet you she probably took 30 pages of notes. That's kind of the way Abby's dialed into things. She observes everything, and then, it's like a sponge. She writes it all down, and so she can retain it all. So she's a great addition to the Husker Online team, and we're super happy to have her.
That is awesome. It's also nice to finally get a hard worker on here.
Absolutely, and we needed something pleasant to look at besides our ugly mugs, anyway.
Absolutely, that's what I was alluding to when I said Abby's classed the place up a little bit tonight.
Absolutely,
no question about that. All right, then we've got Samuel, of course. He's worked out the game plan already for Scott Frost, anticipating a game plan heavy with power running, play action, and an effort limit quarterback runs, meaning let's keep Adrian clean. What's your take?
Yeah, I think he hits the nail right on the head there, and because why do anything to risk your quarterback right now in a week one game? I know it's a big game, it's a conference game, it's different than a regular season opener, but absolutely, I think you want to go out there and you want to establish your identity. It's something that we've been waiting for this team to do, and I think that identity is going to be a strong power running game, heavy on a running game with a lot of play action, with a lot of weapons that they're going to be downfield. So you don't need to risk Adrian Martinez out there with any unnecessary running. Obviously, if the pocket breaks down, he's very capable of running for a first down when he needs to, but yeah, you don't want to push that envelope too much, especially week one. And, you're just trying to make sure that all systems are clicking. And, you want to try to get out of that game with a win and start your season off with some momentum and maybe hopefully go down to Norman 3-0 for a week 4 matchup. And, I think exactly. That's what my game plan would be if I was coaching the team.
And I also think, why would you risk Adrian when now they have 3 or 4 running backs that they feel very comfortable with doing? It's been a really tight competition, so why would you want to risk Adrian, especially when in the past he's had some injuries? He was pretty banged up last year, and he had a knee issue his freshman year. So you want to really keep him intact, really, and especially towards the end of last year where the running back position was really uncertain. Dedrick Mills was hurt. They were using Wan'Dale Robinson as a running back when he was a wide receiver. So now when you have all these running backs, Nebraska really needs to take advantage of that and protect Adrian.
Yeah, I got to think if they're going to run a conventional offense, try to take some heat off of Adrian Martinez, and they're able to get out in front and have a double-digit lead for much of the game, why risk it if you're good to go there? But if they get into trouble, they're down a few points in the fourth quarter, then things may change and they may rely on him to break some things open. Absolutely. If you can believe Athlon's, we're going to go to their unit rankings for Illinois. So they say that the Illini have the 13th rated quarterback room in the country, or in the Big Ten. That's Brandon Peters. He's been around a long time. He was an original Michigan part-time starter, then moved to Illinois. He's been around forever, so I'm a bit surprised by 13th in the league at quarterback, 11th at running back, number 14 at wide receiver, number 6 along the offensive line. So that's probably the best unit, according to Athlon, that Illinois has to offer is the offensive line at number 6. Then defensively, the line at 13, linebackers 10th, DBs at 14. So they're not thinking too highly of the Illinois defense. That's what you would expect out of Illinois football at this point. So Nebraska is clearly the more talented team, and Illinois has been struggling, and that's why you typically have a new head coach. Things haven't been working out well.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, sounds like Athlon's picking Illinois to, be the cellar dweller of the Big Ten this year. But yeah, until they do something to prove better, I understand those rankings. And, Nebraska returns a heck of a veteran team, way more of a veteran team than we've seen at Nebraska in many years. So, yeah, all signs point to Nebraska. They should definitely win this game, especially on paper. They should be winning this game.
Yeah, to be a full touchdown favorite on the road, that's obviously not just a slam dunk situation, but it's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Michael is telling us, usually struggles in the first game of the season. I was going to kind of do a little backtracking on that. We'll get back to that. Samuel says Big Ten officials brought in for the scrimmage and coaches saw lots of laundry thrown around. Yep. You got to play cleaner than last year.
Yeah, Coach Frost addressed that last Friday. Yeah, obviously he didn't like seeing that, and I think that's something that goes along with the turnovers. That's something that you got to clean up. Those are those self-inflicted wounds that we were talking about. And I think a good thing though that they're bringing in Big Ten officials just to come in and when they scrimmage here and there, and obviously it's a learning experience. So the more you can work on that, hopefully it translates to game day that you don't have all those penalties.
Danny here is cutting right to the chase. Can Nebraska win the West this year? They can. I don't expect them to. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think there's some kind of huge talent disparity that they can't do it. Wisconsin and Iowa have the best programs right now. But the talent, if you're just judging talent, Iowa and Wisconsin's talent isn't that much greater than Nebraska's.
No, absolutely. I mean, anybody can win the West. Any year, anybody can win the West. I think you have 5 teams there that are pretty capable of winning the West, and we'll leave Illinois out of that. But yeah, every year is going to be different, and you've got a lot of teams there that have a lot of similarities to them, and everybody kind of looking to be that big boy on the block that opposite Ohio State on the other side of the conference. And I think Wisconsin's kind of held on to that crown for a while, and Iowa's always been there knocking on the door. And Northwestern's won the conference or won the West. 2 out of the last 3 years, and Minnesota's been an up and coming program, and and Nebraska is that college football blue blood that still has yet to kind of establish that in the Big Ten. But you know what? If Nebraska does reestablish that magic, that kind of thing they used to have, maybe the Big Ten West gets to be one of that most hotly contested division races in college football. You never know.
Folks, please link the video, share the videos out on social media, let people know that we're here. You can do that the conventional way these days is share the link on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or the old-fashioned way, you can text people, talk to them directly, let people know, hey, we're talking Nebraska football here at the Voice of College Football every Tuesday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. I don't know that you can really say that Nebraska struggles in game ones under Scott Frost. I just don't think the sample size is large enough. His first game at the helm was that high wire act against Arkansas State. That was a close one, 43-36. They were in trouble in that one, but pulled it out over Arkansas State. They had that game that was an exciting one against Colorado that they should have won, gave up some long pass plays in the fourth quarter, lost at home against Colorado in 2018, 33-28. They had the win against South Alabama, 35-21 in 19. And then, of course, they went to Columbus to take on Ohio State last year in the opener of the Big Ten season that didn't start until almost the end of October, and lost 52-17.
But if I go back to 1971 and go all the way through 2004 or whatever, I don't ever think Nebraska struggled in the opening game of the season.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Again, those teams from the early 70s through the last time they went to a BCS championship game in 01, shoot, if you added up all those years, they're winning close to 90% of their games, period. So not a whole lot of losses. All right, here's a good question we got from DAlt19. Greg, who do you expect to have a breakout year that nobody's talking about?
That's a good question. I think Nick Henrich. And maybe not, people may be talking about him a little bit, but I think Nick Henrich has cemented himself as a starter in this defense, and he's a hell of a football player. He showed that at Omaha Burke. That's why he was a Rivals 250 kid coming out of Omaha, and he was a little bit banged up when he first got here. And I just see a look in his eye that he's got something to prove this year, and I think he's going to have a hell of a year.
I think I would say Feldarius Payne.
I like that.
Yeah, he was talked a little bit more about in the spring, but has kind of gone a little under the radar in this fall. But I like him. Last year, he kind of had that shoulder injury, and it took him a while to finally get on the field and, function fully. And now coaches have saying that his game has really started to slow down. He's learning a lot more. He's a lot more healthy, and he's just a really explosive guy that I think that's going to bring a lot to that outside linebacker spot.
I want to throw one more guy out there, too, on the defense side of the ball is Jordan Riley. This guy, I think this guy might all of a sudden just blow people away. This guy's a specimen, and he looks like he's in great shape, and his attitude is off the charts right now. So he might just be one of those just sleeper guys out of nowhere. He was on the team last year, but was banged up, and look out for this guy, especially if he gets, he takes over that starting nose spot. He could be scary.
I just actually wrote an article today about Jordan Riley. Hate to plug that, but check it out.
Plug it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, so he lost like 30 pounds since last season. So he's like slimmed down a lot, but he's still like a big guy. He's still like 310, 6'6". So it's not like he's small now. But yeah, he's really fast, and the coaches have been talking a lot about how he's leaner, he's faster, he has a better twitch, and that he's learning more, like with pain too. He's also a JUCO kid, so then they've been learning fast together, and there's a big difference between JUCO and Nebraska and what they expect out of them. So I think that those two guys at outside linebacker, they're going to have a big jump.
Sono. Illinois moved their quarterback to wide receiver. I think he's talking about Isaiah Williams. I don't know if you recruited him, if you scouted him at all. What's that?
I said the juice.
Yeah, the juice.
No, I did. I remember covering him in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, Juice Williams led that Illinois team to the Rose Bowl in 2007.
Yeah.
But this is Isaiah Williams as well, who was touted as a quarterback. He was like a 4-star. He was a highly touted player, but they moved him to wide receiver.
Doesn't surprise me. He's an athlete, and depends on that quarterback room, the competition, and where you need a guy at. Most guys are always going to tell you they're going to do whatever it takes, to be on the field, and whatever the coaches ask of them, they're going to do it. If they want to stay on the team, that is.
Danny thinks, I love the optimism here, Danny. Thinks the defense can be as good as 94 and 95.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think it's going to be a solid defense. Now, if they put up any records or shut people out a lot of times this year, I don't know. It's hard to say. Again, it goes back to the offensive side of the ball, and if they can, take care of the ball and not turn it over and not put the defense into bad situations, I think this defense has a chance to be a top unit. Maybe a top 15 unit in the country. They have that potential. They have that. They have that. All that experience coming back, and they got guys chomping at the bit to get playing time right now. All that competition across the board at every spot on that defense, I think, is a very, very intense competition. Safety Noah Pulla-Gates was talking about that the other day, about that competition. And that's at the safety spot. So it's like that across the board, and this defense has a chance to be a really, really good defense. And can they be special like that? I don't know, but we'll see.
Nebraska fans are getting bold here. So we got 42-14. We got a 31-7 coming in. And then we've got all these hot takes. People are getting their prediction groove on tonight. We got Navy Thomas tells us that Logan Smothers will take over as the quarterback this year.
Navy been talking to Mario Verduzco, text messaging with Coach Verduzco. I don't know. But I will say this, though. I think most of fall camp, everybody's been asking me about that backup quarterback spot. And I think, every time I've answered it saying that Heinrich Harburg, in my mind, is the number 2 guy. But that competition's still going on. And the longer it lingers on, the more I hear the coaches talk, that I think Logan Smothers is going to be the backup quarterback going into the season. And I did have a chance to talk to Logan the other day, a little one-on-one there. And I go back a long way with Logan. I went and covered him in Muscle Shoals, Alabama when he was a senior in high school, and got to know his family and his coach and staff down there and all the people in Muscle Shoals. And I see a little bit of difference in him now. I think he gets it now. He finally has the grasp of the offense, and he's not guessing anymore on where he should be putting the ball. And I think he's worked on his accuracy, and he's always had a strong arm. And that ball's always had a good snap coming off of his hand. And I think that he's really progressed a lot this fall. And not to take anything away from Heinrich Harburg either, because he's had a great fall camp as well. And I think Nebraska's got 3 very capable quarterbacks right now that you could put any one of them out there in a certain situation, and I think that they would do well.
Yeah, the hot takes are pouring in. You got Danny who says Tyreek Johnson, he will be the surprise of the season. Moonbot says, hot take, 6 kickoff punt returns for touchdowns this year. Okay. Moonbot.
Where's J.D. Spielman at?
Exactly. J.D. Spielman, Johnny Rogers, probably. Yeah, like all sorts of. That's a lot. If they get 2 this year, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
6.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? That'd be, especially if they're all at home, Memorial Stadium would be going crazy. I mean, I can't. Last time I even saw a return, I think, was Cam Taylor-Britt against Iowa. It was an interception return for a touchdown, and the place went nuts. Nebraska ended up losing that game, but still, they were right there in it. And anytime a special teams, when there's a return for a touchdown, I think that's always one of the craziest moments inside a stadium. I think that makes the crowd erupt more than anything else.
Moonbot.
Wasn't through them.
I'll take 2. Huskers will be a top 5 offense going into the Oklahoma game.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, look at the opponents that they have. I think that's out there. It's possible, but we haven't seen a Nebraska offense put up those kind of numbers in a few years. So I wouldn't get ahead of ourselves there, Moonbot. Just make sure that we get those Yankee shirts out here as soon as we can.
Sam says 7-5 should cause everyone to be happy.
Yeah. I think they're going to a bowl game, so let's hope.
Mason says, if you had to choose one, would you choose a long down corner? I guess that would be a lockdown corner.
Lockdown.
The typos and the punctuation tonight has been everybody's like off their game. No question about that. Or an elite pass rusher, and does Nebraska have any of those kind of guys?
So I'm thinking that Mason must have been watching our coverage of the press conference on Monday when Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald asked Eric Shenander that very question. And I know that Sam's comment was, and that was a question that somebody had asked an NFL coach, and he said that every NFL coach that answered that question said a lockdown corner every single time. I think Coach Shenander kind of took it. He kind of agreed with that, but I think he kind of backtracked on it a little bit too. And an elite pass rusher always does help out a lot, but I think it depends on your situation. It depends on the other personnel that you have on your team to make that final decision. But those are definitely the 2 most coveted spots on there that you try to recruit year in and year out, and those are your difference makers. And I think maybe more along that lines of when I think a lockdown corner in the NFL is harder to come by than an elite pass rusher in the NFL, and I think the reverse in college football. I think it's harder to find an elite pass rusher. And I think you see a lot of really good lockdown corners, and Tyreek Jackson's one of those guys that hopefully you think is one of those guys, because that's another one of those position battles that's hotly contested right now. Is that one spot on the defense, that opposite cornerback from where Cam Taylor-Britt is. And, you got Tyreek in there, and you got Braxton Clark in there, and you got Quentin Newsome in there. And I think it's a battle right now, and I don't think they know who's going to be the starter at this point.
So, Greg and Abby, if you two are okay in moving this show to the Big Ten Network, Sono here is going to be emailing Barry Alvarez. I don't know why he's emailing Barry Alvarez, but some kind of connection with the Big Ten Network. Barry Alvarez has all sorts of pull in the Big Ten and nationally, so I'm not making
Royalty.
light of that kind of comment whatsoever. Not whatsoever, but I just didn't know that there was a direct connection between him and the Big Ten Network. But anyway, we'll get the show on there. Somebody made that comment a couple of weeks ago also about, can you get this show moved to the Big Ten Network?
Let's tell Dave Revison to move over, and we'll take over.
So somebody made a comment last week. They said the Big Ten Network has awful afternoon programming. Couldn't you guys just move this over there?
They're just showing reruns of old games, aren't they, during the afternoons?
Pretty much.
Or Big Ten Eats. Those are kind of cool sometimes. You see some of those places to go eat at when you're at a Big Ten venue. Because we did food question earlier.
All right, folks, it's Nebraska Talk. That we've got for you every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. And tonight has turned into a special edition because we've got Abby Barmore here, who does work on football and volleyball there at Husker Online with Greg. You don't have to put up with him too much, do you, Abby?
It's all right. I only have to see him a few times a week now, but who knows how much when football season really starts revving up. Could be a lot.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But yeah, interesting too. People might know, for on the recruiting front. Just booked my trip to San Antonio today to go see Richard Torres. I'll be seeing him on September 13th, the third game of the year. That's the weekend Nebraska is down in Norman playing Oklahoma. And then October 15th, I'm heading out to Reno, Nevada to go check out a little bit of Nebraska running back commit action. So, yeah, getting things rolling right now and starting to move and shake here. We have next Thursday, high school football kicks off around the state here, and we'll be out covering. We got 2 games on Thursday and another 2 games on Friday night, and we'll see both of the Husker in-state commits in action on Friday night. So, yeah, lots to see, lots to be staying in tune on Husker Online here coming up.
Richard Torres, a 3-star that Greg has talked about in the past out of San Antonio, verbal commit to Nebraska, 8 offers, including Kansas State and Tulsa, San Diego State as well. And those boys at Rivals need to get with it. I want a rating here. We don't have a rating on Richard Torres yet.
Well, really? There's not a number rating on his profile?
He's got a 5.5, but in terms of a position rank, he's got a rating.
Oh, okay.
I'll be technically correct. He's got a rating. He doesn't have a ranking.
Yeah, you know what? This guy's also he's flown under the radar his high school career just because of his San Antonio Southside team has been kind of a laughingstock in San Antonio for many years, and they just kind of turned things around in the last couple of years and started being a decent program again. And they just don't get a lot of media coverage on that for some reason. And that side of that whole side of San Antonio, the media just doesn't like to cover them for some reason. But yeah, and I think nobody at Rivals, any of the analysts that rank these guys, have not seen him in person yet, just for that fact. And he hadn't been to a Rivals camp. I mean, obviously COVID has really shut things down quite a bit with being able to go out on the road and see these guys and stuff. And the Rivals analysts are in the same boat as everybody else. So yeah, that's why there's some rankings and ratings that are a little bit slow to come out right now. But wait until after the season and see the kind of production that he puts up there. And I think that, when it's all said and done, he probably ends up as a 4-star prospect, probably like with at least like a 5.8, maybe a 5.9 ranking.
We appreciate everyone being here. And with 108 on the line, I believe that's the most that we've had this hour. That's always the deal, that we get the most people right before we're going to shut things down. So what you need to do is wait for the video to post. You can watch what you missed right here at the Voice of College Football. Also, keep in mind one more time that we're going to have a post-game show here after every Nebraska football game. And Abby's joined us tonight. Abby, it's been great to have you here. So check out Abby. You just did that piece on Jordan Riley, correct? Where can everybody find that?
That's on Husker Online, so nebraska.rivals.com. It should
Very good.
I mean, it just came out today, so it should be pretty close to the top.
Very nice, very nice. And I assume that we've got some fresh interviews and practice footage there on Husker Online, Greg?
Yep, we were there yesterday, and then we'll be there again tomorrow, like we said. And so there'll be offensive guys tomorrow. We had talked to the defense on Monday, and so we'll see who they give us tomorrow as far as players. And like I said, this is the last time we're going to hear from anybody until Monday for Monday in-season press conference when we hear from Scott Frost and actually John Cook as well, the head volleyball coach, and then whatever selected players that come out for that. And yeah, getting ready for Illinois. So we're getting excited around here. Football season.
Our next live show is Florida State at 6 o'clock Eastern time on our Florida State channel on a Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Check out our Florida State boys over there. All right.
I should point out, too, that, our other contributor, our other guest host, Josh Banderas, is out in Oregon helping out Coach Trent Bray, the linebacker coach at Oregon State. So he's out there in Corvallis helping out with the Oregon State coaching staff right now, and that's why he hasn't been on with us in the last couple of weeks.
Abby, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a good time.
Greg, we will do it again back here next Tuesday night, folks. Bring in some folks with you. Let's push 200 next week here on our Nebraska live show. Everybody have a great rest of your week and weekend. We will see you soon.